Mao's Top 10 Moments, selected and presented by Leah. In 1911, Mao served for 6 months in a provincial unit of the Revolutionary Army. Mao had always had an interest in military heroes during his early life, which is one reason he was involved in the Communist Party, led many armies, and was the base of the new China. Serving in the army was Mao's start to leading the People's Republic of China. Mao put China through the great leap forward to quickly transform the country from a reduced society into a communist society through rapid industrial development and organization. The great leap forward resulted in millions of people dying from two failed harvests. The plan was abandoned after 2 years because of an economic breakdown. Mao gained peasant support and part of redistributing land. In 3 years, Mao and the Jingxai Soviet controlled several in the countryside, and the Red Army had grown to 200,000 men. 20 years later, the Nationalists were defeated by the Red Army. The Red Army defeated the Nationalists by establishing a peasant base of support in the countryside and encircling the cities to choke off the Nationalist military bases one by one. Around 1937, the Communists and Nationalists renewed their alliance to fight off the Japanese, because the Japanese were a common enemy. Mao's control grew to cover nearly 100 million people. In 1945, the Communists won against the Japanese. The war against Japan led China into the Chinese Civil War. The Little Red Book contains statements from Mao Zedong's speeches and writings. After Mao's death, he was insured against the cult of personality, which means he used propaganda to create courageous and at times worshipful images. The Red Mao was applauded of his leadership and theories through 1957. Later, the government largely blamed him for everything that went wrong during the next 2 decades. Mao's policy of letting 100 flowers bloom was a campaign for the Soviet Union's 5-year plan for industrial development and new policies. It encouraged the activity of arts and the progress of science. It also encouraged people to share their opinions of a communist government and socialism. Mao saw this campaign as a chance to promote socialism. Mao introduced the Cultural Revolution to strengthen China against a recapse into capitalism. It was a campaign to get rid of the four olds, old culture, customs, ideas, and habits, and establish the four news. Many people suffered or died because they were considered one of the four olds, such as writers, teachers, and party leaders. During this time, Mao gained power once again after the failed Great Leap Forward. Mao became interested in communalism when he was studying at the Beijing University. A communist idea of living is that all people should own everything together. Mao thought China should have a communist government. Mao became involved with the Communist Government Party and grew more serious about converting the old China. October 1st, 1949, Mao Zedong became chairman of the Chinese Communist Party and chief of state of the new People's Republic of China. He also became the chairman of the military commission that controlled the People's Liberation Army. He had proven himself a good Chinese leader by being a good Chinese Communist Party member and leading many armies to victory, including the Red Army on the Long March. Mao had also encouraged many Chinese citizens to become involved in making a new China and convert to the communist way of life. On October 1933 through 1935, Mao Zedong led his forces on the Long March, a 2,000-mile retreat, after his base in the Jingxai province was attacked by nationalists. At this time, Mao continued to build power and reputation as a communist leader more than ever. Many people started to side with his ideas and theories of what a new China should be. After the march, people became more actively engaged in the Civil War.